everyone, welcome back to TV Guys, the show that's here to make everyone watch TV again. I'm Matt.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Jake.
And I said make everyone, I meant to say make America. And I already screwed up the beginning. I've already screwed it up, guys. We need to make this podcast great again. Matpa. There you go. What, Brian? What do you have to say?
Nothing. Do your thing, man.
You think this is so easy? You think it's easy to have a new joke every single episode?
Because I did the intro like once, like 3 years ago, and it was awful. So like you can take that. I'll edit.
I don't even remember if you did or not, or how well you did.
I don't remember. I did once. I don't remember what episode it was on, but we've done like 200. So it's like one of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a brand new guest. Brian, you said this before the podcast. This is our which number guest?
23rd guest.
Our 23rd different guest we've had. So we hit one of the lost numbers, 23. Yep. And we got Jake, a fellow Bears fan, when he's not playing Star Wars Droid Tycoon on Fortnite.
That's right.
He's watching TV. Jake, what are some of your favorite TV shows that you watch?
Man, I got a lot, but obviously Lost is definitely one of them. I was an OG Lost fan back in the day, but pretty much anything Star Wars. Once Upon a Time was a big hit for me.
Really? I do like Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, I'm actually rewatching that with my daughters right now, so kind of
same. I'm at the Frozen season.
Okay, yeah, we're like 15 episodes in, so definitely haven't gone there yet. But and then Office, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Parks and Rec, so definitely.
So if there was one show that you felt like was your bread and butter that you could do a whole episode on, which show would it be?
Oh man, that's a great question. Probably Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
I will say we've done episodes on almost every show you listed.
Yeah. We haven't done one specifically on Once Upon a Time, but I've mentioned it a few times. That's more of a niche show. I mean,
exactly.
It's like Lost, but not as good.
No,
it's the same guys behind Lost, but
yeah, it's fun seeing how they portray the certain characters and that sort of thing, and with the current time and the past and how they intertwine everything and stuff like that. Because you got Disney, and then they bring in some others too. So it's cool seeing how they did everything.
Next week, we're actually doing an episode, or not next time, we're doing an episode on Lost. We're going to talk about a couple different characters and some of their character arcs, and we're going to point to, hey, this is a moment when this character really had a huge change, and this marked it for us. So that's a good preview for that one. I'm currently watching through Lost, an edit of Lost that's chronological order.
Okay,
so
interesting.
It starts with that the one Man in Black and Jacob episode, at the dawn of
the
time.
last episode.
One of those. Yeah. And then the next one is Ab Aeterno, which is Richard's episode, and then we start getting more modern. Then
you get Locke being born in the 50s.
Yep.
I definitely need to do a Lost rewatch for sure. That's been a while. I don't know if I've watched it since it originally aired, but obviously I've maybe one other time, but shortly after. So it's been a while, but
I just did last year. I finished. It took me about a year and a half, a full Lost rewatch, along with the Down the Hatch Lost rewatch podcast. And where every episode they did a 2 to 3 hour podcast about every episode of Lost. So that took me a while.
And today I just finished watching Brian's favorite episode, right? Through the Looking Glass.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
And believe it or not, speaking of Once Upon a Time, Lana Perrell, who plays Regina, she is one of the people in the Looking Glass station that's monitoring it. There's 2 women down there. She's one of them. She has 3 lines in the episode, but she's there.
Yeah. Definitely have to rewatch that for sure.
All right, we're 6 minutes in, and all this has been about Lost so far. And if you guys are like, I don't watch Lost, then you might be lost. So we're going to talk about shows that you have watched. So listen, happy 4th of July. This episode if you don't know, Jake, this is going to be airing closer to 4th of July. And so it's the 250th birthday of our nation. It's 4th of July. We got to do something special. So Brian and I, we're going to debate. We're going to have a fight. And we've brought in Jake as our arbiter. You know, we're on the lawn of the White House and we're throwing down and we're pile driving into oblivion, and Jake's there commemorating it all, and he's deciding who's going to be the winner. So we're going to have 5 rounds, and Brian and I are both going to give our opinion on a certain character. So we're going to say, hey, this character versus this character, and there's 5 rounds of that.
Right.
And we'll both give our opinion. Jake will say, okay, this is the person who I think is the better who had a better argument. This is the more patriotic character, and we're going to keep track and see who wins. And then after we decide of who wins in that specific round, we can talk about it for a couple minutes, and then we'll move on to the next round. So 5 rounds total. It's going to be great. Brian, Jake, do you have a way that you want to decide who goes first?
I think just we'll do flip flop, kind of snake.
Right.
I guess I don't know if there's only 2 of you, but So
all right, Jake, you decide who's going first in the flip flop.
We'll do Matt. You go first.
All right. So the first round fight. It is between Ron Swanson and Leslie Knope. Now, not all the other rounds are going to be in the same TV show, but both of these characters are on equal footing, in my opinion. But obviously, because I'm talking about Ron, he's the winner. Ron is for those of you who haven't watched Parks and Rec, and we're going to give a little bit overview of these characters too as we're going through. So if anyone hasn't seen one of these characters, you can just take our word for it. And if you haven't seen Parks and Rec, Ron is in charge of the Parks Department, but which is a government department. He is a free market capitalist. So a lot of people, if they're looking at America, like, oh, capitalism, bad, and maybe, but Ron has the ideal version of capitalism where every single person can be an entrepreneur. Every single person can create something with their own hands. They can sell it. They can grow a business, and then that business can be successful. And he actually even believes that a government should be run more like one of these well-maintained businesses. He believes in small government. He's probably more libertarian if you're looking at the scale of where he falls. But he's all about the quality of goods, and that because the government is run so inefficiently, it would be better suited if it was run a little bit more like a government, to piece up the government and hand out, the Parks Department to I can't think of what's Roundup. Oh, that was a bad analogy. But give these different departments to different businesses. So here's a couple of instances where we see Ron as the most patriotic. For instance, in one of the seasons, at the beginning of the season, they go visit London. Ron goes along with the whole Parks Department. They're in London, and the entire time he is entirely unoppressed by all of London. He takes these pictures, but he gives a picture of this Ferris wheel. Is like, big wheel, we have that at home. The Big Ben Tower, oh, it's a big clock, we have that at home. Nothing about London is impressing him. In fact, one thing that he says is, history begins on July 4th, 1776. Everything before that was a mistake.
Yes.
And when he's asked at one point because of the woman that he loves, and she is going back to Canada, she says, I don't suppose you'd want to move back to Canada with me. And he laughs and says, no, I don't suppose that either. So he is this entrepreneur. He's created this business himself, later seasons, very good building and development company. He offers his construction services at one point to Tom, who is trying to get a bistro off the ground. So he provides all of the chairs and he sells them to have these quality chairs for his bistro. And finally, as a point for all of you liberals out there, as a man, Ron won the Dorothy Everton Smythe Women of the Year Award. So Ron, as a man, is the Woman of the Year for Pawnee, Indiana. He is the most patriotic. He checks all the boxes. This guy wins.
Great argument.
All right. Well, so I have Leslie Knope, who is a friend of Ron's on there. I will say you make a lot of good points, Matt. And if I was given Ron as my character to defend, I probably would have said some of the same things that you said. However, if I can say to you and to our very intelligent judge that I propose that he and Leslie Knope have different kinds of patriotism. Ron is that very much America is great. Everybody else sucks. Stick your head in the sand and nothing needs to change. Nothing. You don't need to be aware of anything. Just scream, America's the best, which is good for like stubbornness, but also Leslie Knope is his deputy in the Parks Department who just has this unending ambition. And with that, she doesn't just want to love America. She wants to make America better, starting with Pawnee, Indiana. That's why she hosts these town meetings with the dumbest, angriest, most people you've ever met. It's basically like those scenes are basically like Springfield come to life from The Simpsons. And she endures all of this torture and all over and over again. And she doesn't have to do it. It's not for the money. She does it because she loves her town. She loves her country. And she will never stop fighting to make America better. And even if you disagree with her, you can't deny that ambition. And I will put to this point, there's a season 7 episode of Parks and Rec where Ron goes into her original file when she was applying for the job. And Ron put in the file, I disagree with her on everything that she stands for, but hire her because I would rather have someone who stands for what they believe in than I think we called her a milquetoast yes man. So I think your pick, Matt, even said hire my pick because he disagrees with her, but she stands for what she believes in. I mean, I think you don't get much more patriotic than Leslie Knope.
You're right. You don't get much more patriotic than someone who's saying, let me open the door for you to succeed. Why don't you give me you're tired and you're weary? Come in and you can succeed here. I will leave the door open for you. You're right. Ron does get extra points for that.
Anyways, I think it's a battle of different types of patriotism and what you prefer. And obviously, I'm going for this ambition type because Matt told me it's your job to defend Leslie. So that's what I'm doing.
Great points, great arguments.
Yeah.
Definitely a little more biased towards Ron, I will say. Obviously, I've seen the show. Love the show. But based on arguments, man, I definitely think
Ron is the winner. You're right.
I definitely think you both brought out some good arguments for both. I think Ron is definitely more individual, like patriot, if that makes sense. Whereas Leslie is definitely more big picture patriot.
All right, drum roll. Winner is.
It's a tough one. Ron Swanson.
Yeah, there it is. Boom. Suck on those giblets. I don't know. I don't quite know what I did there. All right, well, 1 point to nothing. I'm going to automatically lose next time just for that sentence, aren't I?
Just because you made that statement, yes.
You're like, I don't even need to hear the argument. He's losing the next one. Anything else that you want to you did have good points about Leslie. Yeah. She is a very idealistic American for sure. And that's what makes this show work so well is because when they first pitch it and they make that first season where they try and put her in a Michael Scott role of well-intentioned but a little incompetent, that doesn't work as well, especially for Amy Poehler's skill set as an actress. Yeah. And to give her the blind optimism and the Energizer Bunny workhorse capability, that's where she starts to shine, and she becomes a character very easy to root for.
Yeah, and to put for your point, obviously I didn't point this out because I wasn't trying to defend Ron, but also he's like the most reliable person. Like for his small group of people that he cares about, he will be there for them 100%. Like when April says, you're like this tree, big and strong and always there for me. And that's what I would say. America is like that. That's what I would have said if I was defending Ron. But now he won without it.
Matt, your arguments were good enough, except for when you won.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add, Jake?
I mean, Ron is definitely that, like, anytime you think of a right leaning character in media, Ron Swanson is definitely that first person you think of who, hates taxes and, hates big government and everything like that. And you know, looks that part. He works with his hands, he makes wood, he does woodworking and things like that. And but deep down, he's a good guy and he cares about others around him, which is definitely you know one of the ideals of America, right?
Yeah, and it's funny you call him right leaning because I think he would be, but in the show, I think he identifies more as like a centrist. Like if you would
Right.
ask
He's
Ron the
definitely libertarian for sure.
yeah,
Doesn't
Yeah.
yeah.
he doesn't pick a side, but a
Right.
lot of things he espouses are, you're right, like he's a pro guns, he is pro small government, he is pro he's a no nonsense, like more of the common sense sort of right wing side where it's like, even though he is progressive, he's not, the left side tends to have more of like the homosexual and transgender rights and things like that. And I think he, as a character, would be still more on that side. So I
Right.
think he'd break from that. He'd probably be more pro-choice and pro-life, and that's where he falls center, is that he has a lot on both sides that you can point to. But
Yeah, he was the best man in a gay wedding.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
are right. That's fair. All right, so our next matchup. All right, you guys are gonna be surprised at this because we're doing Sam the Eagle versus Stan. Oh, what's Stan's last name from American
Stan
Dad?
Smith.
Stan Smith. I thought it was
Okay.
Stan Smith from American Dad. Now, you guys know how much Brian is a Muppets fan. Believe it or not, Brian is defending Stan, and I'm defending the Muppet Sam the Eagle, mainly because I don't know as much about Stan, and Brian suggested it. I'm like, all right, I got to defend Sam, please. So,
Well, to be fair, I suggested both of them, but yeah, I watched a compilation because out of all the characters that I'm defending, he's the one I know the least about. So I watched a compilation of the best of Stan Smith moments on the way home from work today.
how hard is this going to be for you to go against a Muppet?
It is going to be pretty hard, I will admit. But yeah,
I'll make points, and you'll be like, you aren't going far enough. There's a lot more you could say, and you'll want to like make my argument for me. I guarantee it.
well, I'll just like with Ron, I'll probably afterwards I'll make some points that you missed.
All right, which I'm sure will be a lot. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll try. I'm starting. Stan Smith is a lot of the same patriotic stuff as Ron Swanson. Like he is just like America is the best. But one thing that is he's dumber than Ron by a lot. Now you might think that's a bad thing. However, if you need someone who's going to blindly take out a gun and shoot someone, partially because it's a cartoon and you can do that, and also because hey, he's a dumb idiot who works for the CIA and all he cares about is basically the American flag and nothing. He's your guy. He's got an alien living in his house. He's got a talking fish. He's all he cares about is really nothing. But that's the kind of blind guy you want fighting for your country because he's got nothing to lose.
Point of order.
Yeah.
He has an alien in his house and a talking fish. I'm just curious how that makes the American patriot argument for you. These are things about him, sure. I'm just curious how that lends to your overall thesis.
Well,
He's
here's
hovering
the point.
aliens.
Here's the point, and I'm going to show this for you and for our handsome judge that it's. And I'm definitely not making this up as I go. He's keeping America safe by keeping tabs on the fish and the aliens, so that if they go crazy, they'll eat him first. He's a sacrificial lamb.
It's a terrible argument, but no, keep going.
And one of the dumbest moments that I'm not sure how this fits in, but I have to talk about it. It was in the clips. He's like out fishing with one of his friends, and he says, oh, "I had to get out of the house. This is the 1 year anniversary. We had a really bad fight with my wife last year. Yeah, what was it about? I forgot my anniversary. Took some second. Oh crap! He's like, yeah, it is.
This is the anniversary.
But you know what anniversary he would never forget? America's anniversary, July 4th.
True.
Honestly, this is my weakest argument, and I did it to myself because I suggested him. But that's what I got.
Everyone out there who's big American Dad fans are doing what you're about to do for me with Sam. They're like, you forgot all this other stuff. Like,
You forgot. What
There's
about
no,
this?
there are no fans of American Dad.
It's
anybody
the
watch
Family
this?
Guy cast off.
It has more fans than the Cleveland show. What? It's still going though, like 20 seasons later or something, right?
Yeah, it's still. I had no idea it was still going, but
What the heck?
I guarantee you. I challenge either of you to find in the wild a diehard American Dad fan. You won't.
I like how now you're arguing against yourself accidentally.
No, I'm arguing against the show, but the character is so patriotic and the winner of this round, but the show is whatever.
So Jake and I are part of a football chat, and in that football chat, when I was like, "Hey, anyone want to be an arbiter on this?" and Jake's like, "Yeah, I'll do it." I told him what the topic was, and I didn't say any of the characters. And someone in there, one of the first ones was like, "Oh, you better talk about Stan," and I had like a gif of him.
Yeah.
Like, "Yep, that's one of our characters."
I'm
So
sorry to that person.
Well, he's not very smart because he's a Packers fan. So
There you go.
I hope he's listening to this, and then he'll be like,
I hope so too.
I'm never listening to your podcast ever again. All right. Well, I've got a layup here, so I just got to try and not fumble this because this is going to be the easiest dub of the
Don't
night.
Cody Parkey this.
What?
I said, don't Cody Parkey this.
So Sam the Eagle, I mean, this guy, he is all things patriotic. You can always call on him because he's part of a big ensemble cast. Whenever there's any patriotic thing, this guy is gonna show up. He is all about America, but he's that like the silent generation type of America, you know? He's that staunch, rigid, unflappable, and there's that degree of better than everyone else. He doesn't lord that over too much that I've seen, but he just kind of walks around like he knows he's better than everyone else, right? In the 2011 Muppets movie, we see him hosting a television segment of the real world right then called Everything Stinks. Like, that is American media for the early 2000s, right? This guy is like the Tucker Carlson of the early, depending on your political leanings, you might not. He's also the Anderson Cooper. I don't know. He's he's this great character, and I know this isn't technically TV, but in the Muppet Vision 3D attraction at Disney World, that's no longer at Disney World, he puts together, we want to talk about inclusiveness, okay? Because sometimes the Patriots are inclusive. He puts together this big salute, and he calls it a salute to all nations, but mostly America.
Mostly America.
It's a glorious 3-hour finale that he does in a minute and a half. But he is very over the top, all aboard America. And like, I can talk about different like quotes and different moments of him, but honestly, think about it. He's named after Uncle Sam. He himself is the literal symbol of our country. He is a freaking bald eagle. How can you get more patriotic than that? You can't. That's it. Mic drop.
Mic drop. Very good, very good. Definitely good arguments. Some arguments better than others.
He's talking about you, Brian. Some arguments like Matt's.
You have Stan, who's definitely, you think America, right? He's obviously works for the CIA. Has all American Dad. Well, that's why it's called American Dad, right? And then you have Sam the Eagle, who's basically an eagle. He is the symbol of America. I really wanted to vote for Stan, but I got to go with Sam the Eagle for sure. He's everything. Every other word that comes out of his mouth is America. So it's like he's always thinking about America. Every time he comes up, he mentions America. So even in Muppet Christmas Carol,
I know that's what I was going to mention. The Muppet Christmas Carol. Go ahead. You can say.
Yeah, Muppets Christmas Carol. He thinks he's in America.
Yeah.
He forgets that this story is based in London. So
That's one of the funniest moments. He's like talking to young Scrooge. It's the American way, and
it's the
then Gonzo
American
whispers
way.
him,
Yes.
"Really? It's the British way."
Yes.
You will learn business. Yeah, I thought about including that, but I already made a reference to the movie, and this is technically TV, guys. I cheated a little bit, but I mean, he's a character created on TV. That's just in a lot of other media too. So
Yes.
Yeah.
it's the only one I cheat like that. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
All right, Brian, what are some other things I left out about Sam?
Just how stubborn, and it's like the censorship of it. Like he wants to keep everything clean and pure. There was an episode of the Muppet Show where Dr. Teeth is singing the song, and I forget what the lyrics are, but it's like jazzy, nonsensical, and Sam is all worried that it's going to be inappropriate. But and Dr. Teeth is just making things up. Like, this is what this means. This is what he's making up crap just to appease Sam. And I wish I had the specifics on me, but also there's also Spike Milligan is another great episode for Sam, and he's putting on something similar where it's like a salute to all nations, and there's some characters who are basically would not be played today. Like there's Arabian people who were mining for oil in the dressing room. And
Oh
at the
my
end,
gosh.
yeah, it was the 70s.
Yes. The best time.
Yeah.
No one cared. It's fine.
Yeah, but the way Sam comes in is towards the end. This is big chaotic rendition of "It's a Small World After All," and Sam is just defeated, half-heartedly waving an American flag. Like, I hate all of this.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and then obviously, going back to Muppet Treasure Island, he's like the right-hand man to Captain Smollett.
Yeah. And like,
That's right.
what's his introduction to Kermit, where he talks about like the captain is like the fiercest or whatever,
Oh yeah,
and like he just builds him up.
And he's like he's got a raging temper, and then the thing opens up. You're expecting to see this big burly guy, and Kermit walks in. Hi everyone. And every time someone on the deck, it's like 40 luscious. You don't want to walk the plank for that. And Kermit's like, I didn't say that. I'm just anticipating your whim, sir.
That's just another way that America grossly misinterprets what we should do. Yeah. Capital punishment. Yes, America.
It's the only way.
That's true. That's the only way, guys. That's it. All right. Well, I don't have anything to say about Stan, or else, I would have tried to defend him and let Brian have the easy layup of Sam. I'm sorry. I feel bad because it's okay. Like, even if when we get to the end of this and we look at all 10 characters they're going to have, there is still probably no one that's going to beat Sam. He's the guy, right?
The ultimate. Yeah. Yes.
All right. Well, we've got a similar profile, but in a little more serious tone. Similar profile as Stan Smith. We've got 2 government agents for this round 3. It's going to be John Casey from Chuck versus Jack Bauer from 24. Now, I'm defending John Casey, so I do understand I've got a little bit more, for any bias, I've got a little bit more of an uphill battle on this one. It's payback for easy Sam. But John Casey, when you think of patriotism and unabashed love for your country, which party is most likely going to embody that? You're right. It is the Republican Party. If there's a party that is okay to be had a picture taken of them waving a gun in the air and kissing a flag, it's the Republicans. I believe that John Casey, if he got his portrait drawn, that would be what it would be. Like making love to a flag while shooting a gun in the air. He's got pictures of Ronald Reagan, who is a Republican Superman. He's got pictures of him all over his house. This guy has been serving the NSA for all of his life. He's got such a strict love of country. There's an episode, Chuck versus the Tic Tac, where Casey discovers that his former fiance, whom he hasn't seen in 2 decades, is in trouble and her life is in danger. So he, along with the team, is able to save her, only to find out that she has a daughter as well, and that's Casey's daughter. He has a chance to reconcile with his former fiance because she didn't recognize him. So he has a chance, because she's single, to reconcile with her and to be a part of his daughter's life. And he tells Chuck, he says, I chose love of country over love of a woman a long time ago. That he knows what his duty is. And like, America comes first. His country comes first. He can't have family life. He can't be happy. He can't choose things for himself. In a more comedic thing, in Chuck versus the Cubic Z, Casey and others see a misinterpreted proposal. And when Casey is asked if anything is sacred to him, he replies, "Oh, the right to bear arms." Like, that is the most American answer of the thing that he holds dear the most, guns. Of course it is. It's Casey. He's relentlessly tortured. He is shot multiple times. He's knocked out. He's punched. He's poisoned. He's put in harm's way over and over for his country. There's an episode where it's all about how much he loved this prized Crown Vic that he drives around, and at the end of the episode, he has to sacrifice it in a moment's notice so that a missile doesn't blow up in a popular area and the missile hits his Crown Vic instead. This guy gets put through the ringer episode after episode, but he keeps coming back. He never questions orders. He's always loyal. He fights for his country. He fights for every single mission that he has. And this guy is the most patriotic guy that you want serving in a government role like that. So that's John Casey for you.
You know, I will say John Casey is a very patriotic guy, and I think he could win against a lot of different people. Not a bad choice. However, we're talking about Jack Bauer.
Yeah.
And Matt, I know you haven't seen as much 24. So Jack Bauer is not going to be the guy to go on TV and wave the flag because he doesn't care about appearances. He doesn't care if anybody knows who he is or what his name is. He has had so many, like every season, like 9 of the worst days of his life that would have broken any other person. Just some examples off the top of my head. There was a nuclear bomb that they could not disarm. The only way to disarm it or to not kill everybody was to have a suicide mission into the middle of the desert so that only person that he would kill was the pilot. Jack volunteered without hesitation, has a big, long goodbye to his daughter on the phone. Of course, later on, his boss, who was already exposed to radiation, shows up with a parachute who had been hiding in the back and lets him escape. But if that hadn't happened, he would have given his life right in that moment for his country. When he finds out that the president of the country, the president of the United States, was not only part of a huge international terrorist ring and was responsible for killing a former president of the United States, he worked with like the 4 people in the country who would actually believe him, and they worked against the president who has the entire military and all government agencies at his disposal. He still fought against that to bring justice for that president and for the country. Every season, there's a nuclear bomb. There's a bio threat. There's a terrorist kind of trying to kill people. Kids getting kidnapped. His wife gets murdered in season 1, and through all of that stuff, he keeps going, and he will not stop trying to make America safe. And all of this is done behind the scenes. Like, the general public doesn't know this guy exists, but so many millions of people are alive because of Jack Bauer. And I don't know how you get more patriotic than Jack Bauer.
All right, Jake.
Right. Yes. This is probably the first characters I didn't really know a whole lot about. Like Chuck, I didn't really watch a whole lot in 24. I honestly don't know if I've ever seen an episode of 24, to be honest.
Yeah.
Obviously I knew Jack Bauer because like I knew of 24 and Jack Bauer.
Yeah.
But great points. I mean, Matt definitely throwing the patriotism in there from him, and I mean Jack Bauer is, he's definitely because my understanding is 24 was all in was it all in America? Like, did it all take place? I know it was like each season was a whole day, right?
Yep. Each season was a 24-hour period of real time. Yeah.
Right.
Let me say this: Jack Bauer, more like crap hour, right? That guy. I think I win just for that pun.
Funny you say that because my vote is actually Jack Bauer. So he is more patriotic and the most patriotic in my opinion.
I can't hate that ruling, and I agree with you, Brian. Even having not seen, I think I saw the first season of 24. Even having only seen one season,
Yeah.
like I completely understand why Jack Bauer would win this, and John Casey would win against a lot of other people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But Jack Bauer is like he was the GOAT of early 2000s, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure, absolutely. And I got to rewatch that show. It's been a while since, but that's one of my favorite shows. It's not as good as Lost, but it's close.
And the man
That's
did
the
all
one
of
I
that
need to
while
do.
fasting and holding in his toilet needs for all
Never going to
24
the
hours.
bathroom or eating.
Yeah,
And not sleeping at all. Man, what can he do, you know?
exactly. Yeah, and if you couldn't tell, Matt's done a lot more research because I came off of a vacation last week where we came back on like a 15-hour road trip, and then I've had like 10-hour days because work's been crazy this week, so I've had like no time to really prepare. So I'm just kind of winging it the best I can.
Hey,
Doing
no
great.
excuses for sucking. All right. I'd asked Jake, but you said you hadn't seen any of this show. Like, I love Casey though. Like he is such a good dynamic on that show because you need like that stoic, stuck up guy like that is he's such a good foil for Chuck.
Yeah,
Who's such a fun goofball and like improv light on your feet, nerdy dude, and like Casey's the jock, so to speak. If this is more high school, like he can do everything, and so
Get things done.
to be like, oh, Chuck can't do this. Casey, you got this, right? And to
But
see
Casey
him
is
nail it
so-
every time.
Casey is so like serious and Stowe's got a stick up his butt, and it's like it would be really annoying. Except he takes it to the extreme that it becomes funny.
Yeah. And he takes it in stride too. Like as grumpy as he gets, he still takes it in stride. And he has to work at the Buy More, and he has to be surrounded by all these other people. And he's the guy who spent his entire life like fighting for the freedom of this country. He gets to see firsthand what that freedom looks like in a stupid Burbank Buy More.
Yeah,
And I'm sure he's like, oh, is this really worth it?
like this is what I'm fighting for.
All right, we'll go to the next round. Oh, no, you start this one. Okay, so we have Tim the Toolman Taylor from Home Improvement versus Carl Winslow from Family Matters. Brian, you've got Carl. You tell us, did you do that? That was bad. I didn't commit to it. I came up with it as I was saying it. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Well, to be fair, that's a Steve Urkel one. That's not Carl Winslow, but I get it's from the same show. Yeah. So Carl Winslow is an interesting character because on the surface, he in very a lot of times he is the doofy dad. He is the guy. His wife's always getting a one up on him, but he's not like to the level of like a Jim Belushi from According to Jim. Another show I'm convinced has no fans. Where
Nope, wrong.
Yes.
I like According to Jim.
Only
Right, we
because it's set in
found one.
Chicago.
Yeah. Anyways, so he's got the doofy dad, but he also really truly cares, and not only because he's a cop. And I'm going to bring up a specific cop moment in a moment, but for his family, for as much as like a grumpy dad he is, like one of his catchphrases is, "Steve, go home, go home, go home, go home," and then Steve would say, "I don't have to take this. I'm going home." He lets people run around his house. His wife's sister and her baby, he lets them live in his house. His mom comes, he lets her move in his house. Steve Urkel ends up moving into his house. His nephew, he ends up adopting a baby. Waldo, who's like the dumbest character ever existing, he lets all these people come in and out of his house while putting up the airs of like, "Oh, I'm so cranky" and stuff. And I'm not turning this into an immigration thing.
I was going to say, your argument is he has a sanctuary home?
He's a sanctuary house.
What I'm saying is, beneath his rough exterior, he's a softie, and he really is going to be there to help people because he really wants them to succeed. And ultimately, America is good for having people like Carl in it. There's a season towards the end where, I forget if it's high school or college, but it's like a science fair, and it's like Parents' Day, and Steve Urkel is feeling sad that like no one's there for him because his parents are never there for him. And then he looks over and you can see this look on his face when Carl walks in to be with Steve, even though Steve annoys the crap out of him. And there's so many moments like that where he kind of like Jack Bauer, but on a smaller scale. Jack Bauer will like almost kill himself, whereas Carl will give up his peace for others. And it's that compassion, I think, really shows what we'd like America to be. I'm kind of pulling this out of my butt, but I think it works. And not only that, is that there's a big thing in our country about good cops versus bad cops, and they go with this in a very big episode of Family Matters where his son gets not only like pulled out of his car and forced to be like lay down on the black asphalt and have this big embarrassing moment just because he didn't signal, and it was very clear that it was a racist cop, and he has a big showdown with this cop, and he basically says like, that's not what we do. Like, we are here to arrest criminals. We're not here to arrest and harass black kids. So even then, he's trying to change the system and stand up for people from within the system of being a cop. So all in all, Carl is a really good guy. He's a doofy dad who gets angry and gets his comeuppance with his wife a lot, but he loves his kids, he loves his neighbors, he loves his family, and I think he is one of your all-American dads.
Don't forget, he stopped the Nagasaki Tower too.
That's true. He
no,
had to change
just because he pretty much played the exact same character in Die Hard doesn't mean that he gets the goodwill of that character. I refuse. He doesn't win on that.
If it helps me win, he does.
All right. Well, Tim Taylor, one of the biggest parts of being properly American is a love for power, right? When 4th of July, every year, the birthday of our country, what do? We send explosions into the sky for hours. And we do that all across the freaking country. We love power. We have biker gangs that put American flags all over everything. And they put engines on that you can hear 3 states over. Tim Taylor is the power guy. His catchphrase is more power, more, apart from going, oh, he's all about like power. This guy puts horsepower on anything. He's added a horsepower on a lawnmower, on a belt sander, on his wife's vacuum cleaner, on a freaking garbage disposal. And of course, he's added horsepower to the rebuilt 1933 Ford Roadster, aka the Hot Rod, that he spent a while working on. He built a car from the ground up, or he restored it, honestly, as a Motown native. And what is one of our biggest cities in America for the blue collar worker? Detroit. Man, that is where we get our automobiles from. Henry Ford is a freaking American icon, and he made Detroit what it is today. Sure, they have a terrible football team, which, by the way, Tim Taylor roots for, and as a loyalist, he in the 90s rooted for the Detroit Lions, despite the fact that no one with a good brain should root for the Detroit Lions ever anyway, but he still did it because he's a patriot, because he loves his country, he loves his football team, he roots for his local football team. And also, let's also boil down what an average American should look like. He is painted as this general demeanor of a well-intentioned man who kind of is a massive idiot when it comes to common sense and everyday things. And boy, if that's not an American for you, I don't know what is. And finally, one example from a show. You've got Carl, and he's a cop, and that is a great American thing, and that's a great thing for our country. He serves the government, but Tim isn't able to do that. However, he is able to do that in an episode because he does have a local access TV show called Tool Time. And on Tool Time, in an episode called Tanks for the Memories, he uses his platform of this TV show to give a big salute to troops. Tim has been a big supporter of the troops and it honors the veterans quite substantially. And in this episode, not only does he honor the troops, but he actually gets to pilot a tank. He gets to sit in the cockpit of a tank. He doesn't do it well, mind you, but that's fine. But he still is right as a man, as a father in Detroit of 3 boys. He's riding around in a freaking Panzer. All right, he's like this guy. He is American through and through. He is powerful. He's awesome. Tim Taylor for president. The end. Plus, he's Santa Claus. So, I mean, if Carl Winslow gets extra points.
I would have gone Buzz Lightyear. I would have gone Buzz Lightyear because Buzz Lightyear is very American.
Yeah. I mean, he's. You can make the same argument of Santa because Santa's international, but Buzz is space international. So.
Yeah.
All right. Man. I definitely was pulling for Carl,
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards Carl, but
no, you're not.
I definitely think Tim. I mean, you think of the tools and the hot rods and all the freaking explosions that happened and mistakes he made is definitely more American than the nailing yourself to a wall and stuff like that, and whatever nonsense he got into.
Carl Winslow is not Reginald Val Johnson. All right, it's just because Reginald Val Johnson is a beautiful, amazing man doesn't mean he's Carl Winslow.
Whereas Tim Allen is Tim Allen.
I think this is our closest matchup so far.
This was probably the closest, but yes, definitely Tim Allen from Home Improvement.
That wins?
Yes.
So technically, you've already won 3 out of 5.
I did it. I did it 3-1. You haven't been quite swept, but we'll see if you can at least save face in the final one and get a second point.
By the way, it was so hard for me not to pile on because with Tim Taylor because you were making some great points, and I'm like, if you were going to ask somebody what does a man look like, an average American man look like in the 90s, just show him Tim Taylor.
Exactly. I mean, that family and him working with cars and tools and I don't really think they ever got guns in the show.
I don't think they ever went down that route.
Yeah,
they're definitely more of the Midwest.
No.
Yeah.
But you're right. That is a very big, and the other side of it too. In terms of how he viewed his wife, he loved his wife. He had really good intentions, but he's kind of stupid, and that's just how men were portrayed in the 90s. They just don't understand women. Do we understand women now? Probably not, but maybe a little bit better than we used to.
Yeah, he was never intentionally inconsiderate to his wife. He was accidentally inconsiderate to her a lot.
Yeah, I don't remember a time he's versus Raymond from Everybody Loves Raymond. There are times that he purposefully chose to be inconsiderate of his wife.
Right.
Tim's more likable than Ray.
Yeah. All right. Anything else to add before our final round here?
That's all I got.
All right. Last round. So this is a little bit different. This round is instead which of these characters represents in a metaphorical sense America better, not which is more for America, pro America, who and I think Brian's going to do it the same way, but I'm kind of approaching mine a little bit from the negative side because let's be honest, as much as we can love our country and as much as 250 years, there's plenty of defaults, or there's plenty of faults, there's plenty of problems in America, and so I went a little bit more of a cynical route with the guy I chose. So anyway, the two that can represent America, we have Michael Bluth from Arrested Development versus Dwight Schrute from The Office.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with Michael Bluth. Now, he is the main character, and in fact, the opening credits is that this is a story about a family who lost everything and the one son who had no choice but to try and keep it all together. And that is indicative of the America as the world police, that they feel for no other reason that they are the ones who have to hold the whole world together. They have to be involved in everyone's business. They have to be the arbiter of justice and moral standings. And Michael Bluth is the type that he has these ideals that he thinks are so high and lofty, and that everyone should be held to them. But because they're so high, he never achieves those ideals himself. And so he ends up being this hypocrite because he won't take these shortcuts. And in principle, he's not going to take these shortcuts. But then he ends up breaking those principles, and he takes these shortcuts because he's like, well, I'm well-intentioned, and I'm going to do that just this once of breaking this. No one else should, but I'm going to do it because I know that I have good intentions behind it. And so he constantly backpedals on what he thinks should be the case and what he should be doing. There's other times too where it's a little bit more on the nose, like, the Bush level politics, where he made these backroom deals. I mean, really it was his dad who made these backroom deals with Saddam Hussein, of all people. However, in turn, he ended up offering them shoddy homes that no one wanted to live in. And honestly, when these deals with Saddam came to light, he denied them entirely, and he tried to distance himself from it. And anyone he knew, he was like, no, I'm not friends with them. I don't know them. I never did anything good with them. In fact, it was a fake name, Nickel Bluth, that was on all the paperwork. And so he got off as a technicality. And again, if that's not indicative of American foreign policy, that as soon as it comes up, like, wait, you were in bed with this terrorist cell? No, that wasn't me. That was Shamerica. That was this other guy. That was the other president before me. I never had anything to do with this. Finally, there's an episode where a workers' union that had a strike, and they had this home building site, and everyone on that site went on strike, and so it had to be shut down right before they're going to make this big public debut to sell a bunch more houses. And there's like, well, all we need to do with this house is we just need to finish the outside of it so that people can see what it looks like, and then we can get the funding to build the rest of the neighborhood. So he brings in people that work for free, that just to make this shoddy product, and inside it ends up having a homeless guy living on the inside, and there's nothing else in there besides just this fake product. And so again, another example of like, well, let's just do the bare minimum. Let's just, throw this out there so that we can get more funding and more money shoved at us. And then what else did I have? He's a capitalist, but he's also entirely out of touch with what people actually want or are looking for or want to purchase. And then, yeah. Oh, I already said that point. So that's Michael Bluth. That is America. He is America. And I think I got the fourth win of the day with that one. What do you think, Brian?
Okay, yeah. Michael Bluth, you make some good points. Actually, when you first suggested Michael Bluth, I thought you were insane, but you've actually convinced me a little bit, except for the fact that you gave yourself a layup with Sam the Eagle. You gave me Dwight. I think I could just say it's Dwight and end my argument, and I think I would still win. I'm going to put more effort into it than that, but I don't think I need to. It's Dwight. You know who was going to go above and beyond in every situation? It's Dwight. He's not just going to teach you about fire safety. He's going to start a small fire in the hallway and make you think you go crazy to make you learn offhand. And that sounds like a bad thing, but no, it's not.
I'm waiting for you to continue your campaign slogan of "It's Dwight."
Oh, I am. If you're looking for someone, you're like, okay, when a terrorist is going to come at you with guns or knives, you know what's going to happen? Dwight is going to step up with his pepper spray and shoot them like Roy in the space for you. And he doesn't really like you that much. He doesn't even like Jim that much, and he defended Jim in an instant for Roy. That's what Dwight does. Dwight is also so American. I mean, farming, agriculture, and capitalism. He buys the building. Friendship. When Pam is waiting in the hallway crying, he says, "Who did this to you?" Like, he can go overboard. It can be a lot sometimes. But if you want someone to be there for you, Michael can say, "Hey, we're going to Asian Hooters." Dwight's there. Michael can say, "We're going to go downtown and meet Ryan at a nightclub." Dumb idea. We're going to do parkour. Guess who's there? It's Dwight. Dwight is reliable. Dwight is capable. And in the last episode, or second to last episode, Jim says to David Wallace, if there's somebody who likes selling paper more than Dwight, I don't want to meet that person. He's the best salesman of his job. You might think, oh, this is just a doofus. How is he the best salesman 13 out of the last 12 months? Yes, they gave him 2 plaques in lieu of a pay raise because he doesn't need the pay raise because it's Dwight.
It's Dwight.
You know,
Dwight.
on beach games, he wasn't even on Team America. That was Andy's team. Dwight's team was Team Gryffindor, a British-based team. Brian.
How's that
Yeah,
straw
got
you're
nothing to
grasping
that,
for?
do ya?
How's that straw you're grasping for?
That's
How does
his
selling
definition.
paper equate to being American? I don't get it.
The paper is a metaphor for hard work and determination and success and not needing handouts.
Then why didn't you mention his farm?
He did mention his farm.
I
Well,
did.
yeah,
I said
he's
he's
like
the farming.
briefly.
Agriculture. Yeah.
And he's right.
That's it. Just the one word. You just said agriculture, and then you dropped the mic and walked away.
Yeah, you're talking about Andy Bernard. Andy couldn't even bite into a beet. You know who could? It's Dwight.
Most Americans can't bite into a beet either.
I'm
Andy's
pretty
more
sure most
American than
Americans
Bernard
don't know what a
is.
beat is.
Andy Bernard is one of the soft Americans that needs a leader like Dwight.
That's very true. All right.
All right, Jake, I'm done fighting this. You give us your judgment.
This was a interesting look at the characters and stuff, and while I love Arrested Development, I'm pretty sure Brian could have just won with It's Dwight. I left it at that, like he said, but definitely those points are, there's no one more loyal than Dwight.
Yeah.
Freaking with Michael Scott and eventually, towards Jim and Pam and stuff like that. And so, like, he buys the building to keep it going.
Yeah.
And he farms beets, even though beets aren't really like American per se, but
yeah. And I didn't even. I also forgot to mention that he technically fires Jim so he can get severance pay. Like,
that's very true.
Loyalty isn't an American standard. If loyalty was a piece of America, we would still all be British drinking tea. All right,
That's true. That's very true.
It's about knowing who to be loyal to.
All right. I'm surprised though that you didn't mention how he would go and get cheap labor from the Hispanics waiting around,
Oh yeah,
and then instead of paying them, call INS and have them shipped over the border. That's an American thing.
That's America right there. He was ice before ice.
I was gonna avoid such a touchy topic in 2026.
Listen, anything political is a touchy topic in 2026. You can be like, hey, I think that the Fifth Amendment is pretty good. And people will be like, Fifth Amendment? Then you have something to hide. You should be able to have to say everything you have to say in court. And be like, why are you angry all of a sudden? Or people will be like, I don't know what the Fifth Amendment is. You expect me to know things? How dare you, America? I'm like, all right.
It took me a second because I to remember what the fifth was, but I don't know a lot of them by the numbers. I know 1, 2, 5, and 19 by the numbers. The rest I don't. The rest I'd have to look up.
Hey Brian, ask me what that amendment is.
Which one? What's the Seventh Amendment?
No, the fifth one.
What's the Fifth Amendment?
What's the Fifth Amendment?
Under advice from counsel, I would like to plead the fifth.
Yes.
There, I did it.
Not have to say.
Yeah.
We made it happen. All right. Well, Brian, you got your last point, but I'm the winner. All right.
You are.
3-2. I'm
Also,
great. Jake gave you pity points. All right.
That was
Also,
a pity point. Yes.
I only did it the first 2 rounds, but I was gonna do a running gag where I compliment Jake as the judge for every round. But I started to think, what else can I say?
There is, Brian, there's a couple times when you said, oh, you're coming up with your thing, like, I'm just pulling this out of my butt. Like, in a debate, you probably don't want to say to people,
I know.
I'm just making this up as I go along, guys.
I know. I kind of felt bad because I really wish I would have had more time to really dig in and have more specific examples. And so I'm like, I'm trying to remember. And I will admit, I apologize for some of them. I was like, while you're talking, Matt, I'm trying to think of like, okay, I'm going to say this, then I'm going to say this, I'm going to say this. So I'm ready.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to organize it so that I could come in and like not forget or not lose that. But like, oh, I should have said this, and so I'm glad I didn't have that.
Yeah, no, I should have done that. Work has just been so crazy lately.
No, I get it. I mean, we're not. I'm sorry, everyone who's listening. We're not professional podcasters. We're not. Or else you'd probably have a better product. Not that our product sucks. I'm not disparaging us, but you know, you can tell when someone has a full production value budget, and you can tell when they don't. And so,
if I was getting paid 40 hours a week to work on this podcast, I would be much more prepared every week.
Yeah. And that's on you guys. Bring your friends. Make them listen to this. Get us viewership, and then we'll up our ability. So, you know, that's it. That's how it goes. Yeah. we like to alienate our listeners, Jake, as much as we can. We like to scold them for how much we don't like them. So
how much do you hate having them participate?
How much we hate them. Yes. Oh my gosh, these guys are listening. Next week's like, oh, you're back.
Why are you listening to us? What's wrong with you?
You've heard us talk before, right? You know what we do. Like, why are you here again?
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's stop before we get angry hate mail. All right. Well, we're gonna move into our trivia portion of the show. Brian, do you remember what last week's trivia was for Survivor Guatemala?
I do. So we said the winner of Survivor Guatemala, Danny Boatwright, she only received one vote against her the entire season. And who placed that winning vote? And it was Lydia. And in the second to last tribal council, second to last one, she placed the vote for Danny.
Yeah, when Lydia was getting voted out in the final four.
So this week, one of our characters we talked about, one of them who... Wait, did Jack Bauer win? Yes.
He did win.
Jack Bauer won.
The winner of that round, Jack Bauer, my pick, hello. At the end of season 4, Jack Bauer faked his death and then season 5 was living under a fake name. What was Jack Bauer's fake name at the beginning of season 5, 24?
Was it Jake Bauer?
That would have been really good.
How'd they find me? I changed my name and everything.
Yeah.
It's like when Superman puts on the glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone. Hey, real quick, Jake, before we end up and close, we said about like how Sam could easily win the whole thing, or how maybe Jack could win the whole thing. If I know it's apples and oranges, but if you had to decide a winner between Sam the Eagle and Jack Bauer, which one would you pick?
Oh man, that's a good one.
It's hard when they're very different types.
You have a Muppet, and then you got a CIA agent. I mean, when you think, like, I probably feel like Jack Bauer is like more patriotic and does more for the country. But when you think of America, you think of Sam the Eagle.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Uncle Sam, the bald eagle. That is correct. Yes. Jake, you did it. You got a point.
I win.
He went. No, I
Jake,
won.
Are you a Muppets fan,
Come
Jake?
on here again if you're going to get my win from me.
I'm definitely a Muppets fan.
Yeah.
So, big time Muppets fan. Sad to see
Muppet Vision 3D go.
But Saturday I'll be at studios, so hoping to ride Rock and Roller Coaster for the new Muppets.
I don't know if you know. So if you know about, basically, I am to Muppets what Matt is to Back to the Future.
Okay.
And I am to Muppets what Brian is to Back to the Future. So
right, still a big fan, but not quite as good as the other person.
Yeah. I when we were sitting at a family dinner this week, I asked like everyone at the table was like, all right, what's your favorite Muppet? And they're like, what? And then we all were talking about a lot of Gonzo answers. But I was surprised that one or two of them were like, oh, Kermit. I'm like, that's just a placid answer. I love Kermit. Don't get me wrong. But I don't feel like Kermit should be the number one answer for anyone just because he's like the one holding it together. And like, that's nice and it's great. but everyone else has so much personality packed into him that Kermit has to be a little bit more even keel. And it feels like a cop out to say Kermit. That's my opinion. All right. Well, hey, next time that we have a show, we're going to talk about Lost. And we've talked about Lost before, but we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take a couple different characters, and we'll talk about their arcs, but we're going to pinpoint one moment for each of these different characters we're going to bring up where they had the beginning of their shift, or one of the most notable shifts in their character arc. What was like one scene that we can point to that showed that. So we're going to do that with about 6 different characters, and not with everyone, because boy, there's a lot.
Yeah.
So make sure you're listening to that. Have a great 4th. Blow something up, just not your fingers. Until next time, I'm Matt.
I'm Brian.
I'm Jake.
And we're reminding you to stay tuned and keep watching. I know how to end things.